guys, welcome back to Fabricating Customs. I'm Michael, and today we're just trying to get a little something done. We'll get a video out for y'all this week. It has been brutally hot in North Carolina this week. Most of the days, I think 3 of the 5 days this week have been over 100 degrees at some point. It's cooled off this afternoon. We had a squall come through about an hour ago. Although it's cool outside, it's hot in the shop. So that's probably something I'm going to work on next week. Adding a window or a vent or something so I can get some airflow through the shop. That's one of the things that keeps me from getting out here. It's just too hot. Anyway, what I'm doing today is I am going to be putting a PCV system on the Y block. PCV stands for positive crankcase ventilation. And on your Y block, guys, I may be wrong. I've tried to do as much research as I can on this. This one, the road draft tube is down low in the block, and I think in 60 or 61, the 292s had the road draft that came out of the valley pan or the lifter valley pan or lifter valley cover, like the lifter valley cover that I purchased to go on this engine when we put the intake on. There is a filter that bolts to that lifter valley. I have not been able to find one. Like I said, I got the pan at a really decent price. I think I paid $40 by the time I got it shipped to me, which was really good because they're going for like 100 everywhere. I'm not mad about that. I could have modified the one that I wanted, and to think about it now, what my original idea was I was going to set up and use a Mustang style vent filter. Well, not Mustang, but late Windsor, small block Windsor, where the PCV is in the back of the intake, and it has a filter. I don't know if y'all have ever seen one of these. Focus. But that goes in the back of the intake, then your grommet is right on top of it, and then of course your PCV valve sticks to your grommet. We're not doing that on this one. I saw a guy make a comment the other day. He said cut the stud out of the back of that intake, and you can use just a regular PCV valve grommet in there, and just put your PCV valve down in here. So I don't know if y'all can see that, but this is the hole in the back of the valley pan. Like I said, the later model engines, the road draft tube come out of. There was a vent, a little canister that bolted in here, and then the road draft tube come out of here. On the earlier engines, the road draft tube is down here. So we're going to have to take that off and make a block-off plate for that. And to get the PCV valve to sit in that hole right there, we're going to have to break this 1/4-20 stud out of there. I don't know if we can or not. I should have done this before we put the valley pan on. So let me get something so I can get a little brutal with that, and we'll come back. Okay guys, I got that out. If you're going to take that stud out, do it with the valley pan off. It will not come back through the top. It is currently laying in the lifter valley in the engine. Tomorrow I'm going to get a long flexible magnet and try to fish it out. If I'm just going to have to pull the intake back off and pull it out. No big. Live and learn. So for a grommet, they say to use a Chevrolet PCV grommet. The guys at the parts store, they didn't have one. They do have the in the chrome section of the number 6376 Mr. Gasket valve cover grommets, and I just used the one for the PCV valve. It's a little loose in that hole, so maybe when we put the valve in, it'll tighten up. So for a valve, I'm using an EV 225, and this is the PCV valve that would fit a 5-liter Mustang GTLX from like 86 to 93. It's important to try to size your PCV valve close to the size of your engine. we'd be better to have something like a 4.6, but I think the modular motor has a different size valve in it. I might even could look and see there's a 255 Windsor or a 4.9, but 4.9 is only a tenth off from a 5 liter. So we're gonna run this and see if we have any problems with it. And like I said, I am running a Motorcraft valve. I'm kind of the old school, not really old school. When I was working at the independent shop, if it was a Chevrolet, we put a Delco valve in it. If it was a Ford, we put a Motorcraft valve in it. Try to keep what was supposed to be in it, because these valves are calibrated to the engine, and especially on fuel injection, where you're not able to turn some screws on a carburetor, change some jets out to compensate for it. You want to try to keep your idle air that's coming through this valve to be, approximately where it should be. So let's get this installed, and we'll be back. All right, guys. Like I said, this light likes to throw too much light. So there it is. The grommet is a little loose, so I'm going to be looking for a different grommet. I don't know if y'all can see that, but it is a smidgen loose. I'd like for it to be tighter. I just hooked it to the base of the carburetor. There's nowhere in the intake to hook that, so we kind of got to go with what we got. As far as the PCV system on a late model car, you have a pipe that comes back to the breather, but on this engine, you have your oil fill cap has a breather in it. So your crankcase inlet air will come in through this cap. So we're going to replace this cap because I don't know how old it is and it looks kind of crusty. I just have it on there right now to keep the elephant from falling down in the lifter valley. So that's all we can do on the positive side. We still need to pull out the road draft tube and make a block off plate. Guys, I've never had one of these out. There is actually I thought it had puke gold on the floor. There's supposed to be a filter in here, and I do not have enough room on the chassis to get it out. There we go. It just had to fall down. So, as you can see, the road draft filter on this is actually missing. There's supposed to be a filter right here, an air filter to help strain and keep the oil from puking on the floor like it just did. So I don't know if you can see those two screws down in there, those two bolts. Not really going to be something I can record, so let me get this out and we'll come back. Alright guys, so this is what your road draft system looks like on a early Y block. You have your road draft pipe, which points down. Your extra oil actually has to fill up in this canister to come up to come out. Like I said, without a filter on it, there's no way to keep the oil vapor from coming out. And this is a mess, guys. This is the housing on this is bent, and it was just gone together. Like I said, 70 years of jacklegs working on stuff, I ain't saying I'm the greatest mechanic in the world, but I generally try to do things right. So, allegedly what we need to do to fill that hole down in the block, I think you could probably put a freeze plug in there if you had the right size freeze plug. But what you need to fill that hole, or the easy way, is to get a fuel pump block off, or a cord, I think is what fits it. Well, like everything else, that stuff you just can't go buy it at the store anymore. So, we're going to make one. Black Sharpie, the 4-man blue diaper. Actually, I have a bottle somewhere. I'm not sure where. When you get precise with this, it's making a cover. It ain't moving. It ain't protecting nothing. It ain't Got to be precise. This shot doesn't work. And I've probably just got the holes all jacked up. Oh, let's wipe it off. This is it. Okay guys, there's the block off plate. It's not 100% perfect, but it's 100% good enough. That should complete our PCV system except for retrieving that bolt that's under the valley pan. I'm going to get a slinky type magnet tomorrow and go fishing for a little while, so that won't be in this video. Next week I'm going to shoot really hard to get the bag arms made for this, and when we get into that you'll see where the front suspension is going to go, so be looking for that. Like I said, I'm gonna shoot to have that next week. That's it guys. Like and subscribe, leave a comment down below, share, all that helps. The comments help more than you know. It keeps me motivated, especially you guys that come back time and time again. Thanks for being there. I'll see y'all next week. Y'all be good.